People, deluded. I'm back again. He's throwing me off. He's bopping to the vibes, man.
DG.
This guy, man. What you saying, my guy?
I love that intro. I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm definitely in a better mood with that introduction, man. It threw me off, but you know what? It's funny, man. You're kidding me, man. This guy, man. I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, this is me.
You're a madman. But as I was saying, yeah, obviously, on a serious note, where Arsenal's concerned, it's a bit of a turbulent time depending on who you speak to. I feel the battle lines are being drawn. So I'd like to think I'm the platform of reason. So I had to get a fairly balanced head to speak. I know you're pressed for time, so we have to run through this quickly, yeah? But the first thing I wanted to ask you, with everything at Arsenal up until this point on the 24th of January, how are you feeling about everything to do with us? The good, the bad, the ugly, all of that?
You know what, DG? I'm conflicted because for a while now, I've been of the mindset that it's not going to be our year this year in terms of the Premier League. I'm talking like, who was our last defeat in the league? Was it Southampton? Was it Newcastle or was it Bournemouth?
I feel like it was either Newcastle, Bournemouth. There might have been another one, you know. In fact, no, I think that's it.
In the league, those were our last ones in the league. Whoever the last one was when I first was at the mindset that it was like, you know what, it's done. And that was back in October. And people were saying to me, how can you say it's over in October? It's early. You're not even halfway into the season yet.
Newcastle.
The Newcastle, that was the game where I was like, we're not going to win this year. And the reason why I said that, DG, was because although it was only, 10, 11 games into the season, I'd seen enough from my team to tell me that, and the gap with them, I think, was at least 6 points then. I'd seen enough from my team to make me see there's too many things wrong. There's too many things. It's not like we're second, third, or fourth, but there's only one thing wrong. It was too many things wrong that I thought this is.
Oh. Have we lost him? Or is that me? I think we lost him. Folks. Let me give him a message.
Sorry, was that my?
Yeah, you're back. I was getting scared. Yeah, we lost you for a sec, man. We didn't catch none of that.
Bro. That was my internet. I've got to pay my bill. Let me talk fast anyway. But my
man. You was on a good road there.
Indeed, it's hard times now. It's hard times out here, bro. My point was going to be that I did enough to make me really concerned about, was I looking at a Premier League winning side in the making? And the answer was no. It was just no, right? So, and that was back in October. And nothing really since then has made me really veer from that view. And that was with Saka in the team, by the way. Now there's no Saka, and I want to make a point on him in a little bit as well. Up front, we look really poor. I was at the game on Wednesday against Zagreb. The first half was horrible. Sterling is just completely gone. He's done.
That seems to be what everybody's saying in relation to that game.
I don't like saying about, he's a brother and he's a yard man like me, and I want to support the team, and I've got a lot of time for Raheem Sterling. But the facts are, but the facts are, I've got to call it as it is. In that first half, he doesn't be able to beat his man. He doesn't offer anything. He's offering very little. So, and then Havertz had scored a goal, but I thought was poor. I've been really hard on Martinelli. I call him the flirter, because he's a guy, like, you know this, DG. You know that man when you were younger, I used to go raving, I used to go out, right? And there was always that one Don that had all the chat.
I know where this is going.
That's all the chat. When I get to the club, I'm going to do this and that girl over there. Yeah.
And they're sure.
Right? But when it came to getting teams done, nothing. He might even talk to the young lady, but there was never any. It never went anywhere.
There's a lot of foreplay. There's no penetration.
There's foreplay, but there's no babies getting made. So it's like, yo, bro, like, you're the flirter. You're not on things. And all season and for 18 months now, I've been calling him the flirter because he gets the ball, he drops his shoulder, but don't go nowhere. He step over, but don't go anywhere. He gets it, looks, they pass.
There's nothing on the end of it 9 times out of 10, unfortunately.
There's nothing there. But the last 2 games, and I'm a fair man, I think he's been really, really good. And on Wednesday, I thought he was very, very good. The point I'm making is that when 2/3 of your attack are blunt, Martin Odegaard's not playing well, but I feel sorry for him because there's a bigger reliance now on him.
Too much on his shoulders, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, score goals. So there's too many parts that aren't working for me. The reason I'm conflicted is this. Having said all of that, when you take a step back and you look at things from a different perspective, so I know my view, but I'm like, you know what? Let me see it from a different perspective. And I've got fans that are like, it's still early. It's only 6 points in a game in hand, Liverpool. I'm like, okay, cool. We've qualified for my Champions League group, pretty much. I think there's got to be some mad result.
Yeah. A real shock of events would see us not be in the top 8.
So we're top 3 and we're through. We're second in the Premier League. All right, we're at the FA Cup, and I think we're at the League Cup as well. But when you really deep it, it's not the tragic and disastrous season that I think many would factor. It is. You've got your best player out injured. You've had your captain out for a large part of the season. Although, ironically enough, when Odegaard was out, correct me if I'm wrong here, DG, we actually won those games. But the point is that, yeah, we got through that. So when you really look at it big picture, right, the line's killing me. When you look at it big picture, it's not the worst season. I just think it feels really bad because the standard and expectations were to kick on. But you know what? Progress is never linear. It's never natural. Sometimes you've got to take a step back to kind of take steps forward. So maybe this year things won't go our way, but that's okay. On the journey of life, things are never smooth. You never go smoothly. Things are setbacks, and this year might be our setback. I don't think it's over if we make the right summer signings the right January signings in the next week or so. But with the signings that we might or might not make, for me, it's almost too late. Because if you sign a striker tomorrow, say, I'm a bit like, and I know things aren't easy. Things are not, there's an idea amongst fans that just sign the guy, buy a striker, get it done. It's never that easy.
Not that easy.
No, you have to understand. But we needed a striker for the Newcastle game. We needed a striker for the Man United game. We needed a striker for the Brighton game.
Facts.
So it's almost like if you bring in a striker now, cool. But we're out the FA Cup. That would have helped. We're pretty much out the League Cup. Striker would have helped. The points dropped at Brighton. We needed that win. That would have done. So it's almost too late to bring a striker in now. So just to wrap, I mean, I'm talking too much now.
No, you're not, man. That's why you're here, man. We want to hear everything, man.
Well, my view is that I don't think we'll win the title. It still could be a very good season in terms of Europe. I mean, I don't think we'll win that either, but we've got a better chance in that than I think we do in the league.
Oh, you reckon? Better chance in the camp?
I do, because knockout competition,
there, bro,
You know why? Because I think you don't have to be the best team in Europe to win the Champions League. You've got to be the best team in the Premier League to win the Premier League. And we're not the best team in the Premier League. And my concern is that if we don't get a run of form together in the league, DG, I don't know if we're in top 4 secured. Because Forest, well, I think we will get top 4 minimum. For what it's worth, I'd put good money on finishing top 4. But if City beat Chelsea on the weekend, we've got them, I think, in a week or two.
2nd of February, I think, Sunday.
Yeah, really soon.
Big game.
They're only, I think, 6 points behind us now. Now, look, their form's all over the gap. So City are on a bit of a mad one themselves, but it wouldn't be crazy to suggest that this time next month, we're 3rd/4th. That could happen. So we need to put a run together in a way that locks off top 2 minimum. But with the league, with the Champions League, the draw wins you the league. The Champions, whatever draw you get determines how far you go. So luck plays a massive part in the Champions League in a way that it doesn't in the Premier League. So the title for me is done, but the season isn't.
I think, and that's why I got you on today, because that's kind of how I feel. I feel there's reasons to quote unquote be positive. I feel there's reasons to be negative. Unfortunately, though, I feel it looks like we're gonna end up silverless. And I know such silver errors and everything. I know people will sit here and say, "Look where Arteta took us." That is great. Big up Arteta for what he did. I can't underestimate everything he's done. I think he's a good manager. But for me, I would have said going into the season, it's all about fine margins and it's all about getting over the line. The manager and everybody connected to the club speak about trophies. And I do feel that we kind of are on this same cycle, bro, in that we're good, and then we start building up to next season. And it's always, I don't want to agree with Evra, but I think he's right in that it's always next season. And I just want us to create memories in it. It's like going on holiday but not taking photos. That's how I look at our season. There's great memories, but there's nothing to remember it by. And then
but hang on, see, that's a good analogy, because just because you didn't take photos on the holidays, that doesn't mean the holiday wasn't a good holiday.
No, my point is, you're not gonna remember it though. There's nothing you gonna. What when you get Alzheimer's 20 years from now, 30 years from now? You don't remember it.
Come on, DG.
You don't remember it.
That's some influencer chat. Come on, just because photos weren't taken.
Let me ask a question. If you were Saka, Saliba, them man there, you was part of this, yeah, and let's just assume you stayed up. Let's just assume from now to the end of your career, we're finishing second, but we're having this kind of season, right? Are you gonna tell your kids and your grandkids about that? Or you want to talk about I won trophies, etc.?
But that's a different point.
I'm not necessarily saying trophies are everything. I'm just saying you lot are telling me you want trophies. Let's go over the line.
Yeah, but that's a slightly different point, because your initial point was that just because you don't win trophies, it's not a memorable season. And I'm saying, last year, did you not have fun?
Not at the end, no.
Over the course of 9 months, it was a fun season, right?
Yeah, but going back to your thing about going back to what you said about being in the club, yeah, I can flirt with her babes and we can get to know each other and this and that. If she's not she's come back to my yard, that's dead, bro.
No, I hear that, but I think the subtle nuance is that listen, I want to win trophies too. I want to win trophies as well. And I'm
definitely appreciative of where we are now, because back-to-back 8, fighting for a league, we're definitely in a different space.
But for me, and I you know, on Forever Arsenal, I said this, and I get bad for saying this, and I don't care. I stand by this. For me, the enjoyment of watching Arsenal is of paramount importance to trophies. And I accept I'm in the minority, the extreme minority for me. Most people are like trophies. So the way I put this,
I hear it. I don't think it's as mad as it sounds. I hear it because I'm like that as well.
So the example,
I do want silverware because they make me believe in it, bro. They've made me believe that it's attainable. It feels like we're close.
I hear that. But here's the kind of example I give. And again, people shoot me down for this, but I got business. If you offered me 38 1-0 wins, I wouldn't, or play the season out and see how it plays out. I'll do the second option, because for me, enjoying the football that I'm watching is as important as the wins. I'm not a player. I'm not a player. So when Arsenal win a trophy, I don't get a trophy. I don't get a bonus. I don't get a medal. What do I get? As a fan, what do I get? I get memories. I get moments. That's what I get.
Hear that.
So for me, a 9 months investment in a season, and it's dead football, Jose Ball for 9 months, but you win the title. Nah, life's too short. And you know why as well? Because it's too short. And you know why I double down on this as well? I know what it's like to have both. When you're used to sticky toffee pudding at Nobu, I'm not going back to Iceland for apple pie. I'm not doing it. I'll wait.
No, I don't think you're, and that's why I wanted you here, because I feel how you
too much rotted money to go to the Emirates to watch dead football. Oh, but we won.
I hear that. I hear that. No, I hear that, because that's how I feel. I feel obviously when you strip football back, it is about capturing emotions, buying into something. You know, Arsenal fans, young and old, they've seen the Wengers, they've seen the George Grahams. There's different contrasting styles, right? So I get that. I understand that. I therefore hear you on the point of me being a Wenger baby, wanting to see good football. But I do think I deserve trophies. It's like being in a relationship with a woman, and like, the trophies are like gifts. You don't have to buy gifts every week, you know, but just
you don't deserve nothing. You get what you deserve, right?
I deserve it. No, I deserve it. We deserve it. Because we say, because you know what, big up Yardman, He said a point on one of his, I can't remember what game it was, but he said a point and it stuck with me. I'm not, I'm not one of them that cares about us being labeled the biggest team and the worst team and who's the biggest and whatever. He said we're the biggest team in London, but we're not necessarily the best. And I thought about it, and I don't want to agree with it. But he's kind of right. I do think we've got the streets, we're the culture club, all of that stuff.
Mine best.
Bro, trophies, cuz. Like, you look at Chelsea with the several managers they've had.
Trophies.
Yeah, but we ain't. How can we be the biggest in London? What's our European heritage saying? Arsenal fans, young and old, we're embarrassing in Europe. We are embarrassed. There was a point where, like, to go back to what you said about good football, only Barcelona could talk to us. Fair enough, we weren't winning stuff, but we was playing good football. So it's like, we do need silverware. I defend Mikel Arteta. I therefore criticize him a lot, but I defend him a lot. And I do think the trophy thing is a lazy rhetoric, because Ten Hag isn't better than Arteta, but he could say I won 2 trophies. But at the end of the day, you cement that. It's like me having a striker, believing he's the best striker, but he's never won the Golden Boot. I need a leg to stand on, kind of thing. I do think that there's a lack of nuance within Arsenal fan base in that Arteta's done nothing well, or he's turned water into wine. That's why I asked you that. I do think we surely we need silverware, man. Surely, because based on how we've been.
I think silverware is the metric in which most people define winners, right? The guy that's the winner is the guy with the gold medal, right? I've got the gold medal here, therefore I'm the winner. Fine. So technically and factually, the best team, the winning team, is a team that lifts the trophy. Cool. I can't argue with that. But for me, winning, or not even winning, because winning is binary, right? But success is not binary. Success is about margins and about improving. We could not win a league or a trophy this season, but if we get to a Champions League final, if we get to within 2 points of Liverpool and come second, if we turn around the first leg defeat to Newcastle, but losing the final to Liverpool by 1-0 in the last minute, if the football's better, if we're bringing through more kids, the transfer policy this window is good. These are all metrics in which we can say, okay, there's no trophies, but there's things to look at and say, that's where he's making us better. Now, some will say, oh, forget all that stuff. Just give me the trophies. Fine. If your metric is literally trophies or go home, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm just saying, for me, that's not my metric. My metric is gains. And I would always want, I'm Arteta in, and I will be Arteta in as long as 2 things are happening. 2 things. First of all, the brand of football. Yeah, that's for me a non-negotiable. Any Arsenal manager has to play a brand of football that is aesthetically pleasing to me. But you know why? Because we're not Wigan, we're not Stoke. We have and that's not to be rude. I mean, what I mean is, you have the resources.
We've become accustomed to that as well.
But we have if you're Stoke, I understand why you play dead ball. I understand it. Do you know what I mean?
I love the Stoke slander. I won't lie, man.
If you're not rich, then I understand why you have to budget and you might have to shop at a certain supermarket, for example. You got to do what you got to do. If you're a millionaire, but you're going to Iceland, I don't know why I'm picking on Iceland, but if you're a millionaire...
Yeah, I don't know what you got against him.
I don't know what it is. Why, it's bad. If you're a millionaire and you're shopping at you're getting cheap stuff, I'm like, yo, you've got the money to get the best. So there's no excuse then for playing dead football when you have the resources, the budget to play good football. And the second thing is, and this is what turned me, this is when I decided I was Wenger out. It's when I look at my manager and I say to myself, he hasn't got the answers anymore. When I can really be honest, say, you know what? The questions that we need to answer, this guy can't do it. Right now, I think Mikel Arteta still has the answers. I still believe he can win a title for Arsenal. Maybe not this year, but I believe he can do it. When I get to the point where I look at him and I'm like, I think he's running out. He's running out of. He doesn't know what to do anymore. At that point, I'll be like, bro, I think you need to go now. As long as I believe this guy can answer the questions that I have in terms of can you win us a title, and the answer to that question I believe is yes, and the football is consistently good, I'm backing you. The minute those 2 things go the other way, you got to go. Now, for some people, their metric is different. There's people saying now, win a trophy or get out. I just think that.
I don't think it's as white and black as that. Like, I think there's a lot of nuances. I think there are logics with sacking Arteta if that is what you want to go. I don't think Arteta's earned 100% me backing you blindlessly yet. I do think there's many reasons and nuances as to why the man should stay at the football club. You said it that you touched on a couple of things there, and I want to kind of rein in those points. Yeah, you said something and it stuck with me. In fact, added on to what you said about when you would give up on a manager, I'd also say how I felt under Emery. When I see the players quote unquote down tools, I haven't seen that with Mikel Arteta yet. So evidently they're buying into what they're buying into, right? How do you feel about small margins and marginal gains and all of those kind of things? Because the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot's gone against us, a lot's gone for us. Now, for me, I feel I want to be on. I feel more often than not we're not on the right side of that. But where are you at with it?
In terms of decisions,
whether it's decisions, whether it's been red cards, whether it's been small margins that have worked for us, because I feel the good, bad, and the ugly in that's kind of been a theme of our season. That kind of piggybanks off last season finishing 2 points of City for me. And I just feel it's those small margins, like you said, marginal gains. There's been games where we probably deserve to win. And, going back to the game on Wednesday, I think that's in an ideal world, beyond the obvious, that's how Arteta would like games to go, or us. It's a bit of a European model. We've got the possession, we've got the shots, we've had a couple of chances and we've taken them. But 9 times out of 10 in the Prem, it's gone left. Like you mentioned, the Brighton game. I know people will focus on the penalty, and there is talk around that. For me, I think we could have killed that in the first half. And I feel there's too many periods at the moment across 90 minutes, bro, where I can't honestly say that we've controlled all the controllables more often than not when we have drop points.
Well, there you go. I mean, my message to people that are crying about decisions is boo-hoo. Pick up your big boy pants and get on with it. I'm not going to, you're never going to hear me making excuses and crying about refereeing decisions, even if I think they're wrong, because Arsenal fans love to do this. We're the whingiest crybabies of all the fan bases. Sometimes it's embarrassing, DJ.
I can't lie, we are victims. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's just like
there is injustice, but we do move like victims. I cannot lie.
We do, man. It's just like, get on with it. The Declan Rice red card against Brighton, it's a second yellow. Like, we can cry about whether it's harsh. It's a second yellow. The Trossard, Man City, it's a second yellow. The penalty against Brighton the other day, it's a penalty in my opinion. Now, this whole, but those things only happen to us. Well, that's not technically true. But what I also heard was, I've never seen that decision given before. That doesn't mean it's wrong. I've never seen a player be studied with his foot, like someone's face. I've never seen that before. That doesn't mean it's not a red card. So the fact that I've never seen it before doesn't mean it's not a foul. Right. There's certain crimes I've never seen before. Doesn't mean it's not a crime. So this whole crying about stuff is just miss me with that nonsense. Look, have some of the margins gone against us in some games? Yeah, but that's just bad luck. But in my opinion, last season we had a lot of good luck. We had a lot of the margins went our way last year. A lot of 50-50s.
Remember Odegaard at Anfield, the penalty shout. I didn't see it word to Wenger, but yeah, we got away with that one. All
the people that can list you all the things that are going against us, so to speak, they conveniently forget all the things that go for us. They can't name things that have gone for us. So I'm just like, miss me with that sort of stuff. I'm a big believer in the hardest working people are the luckiest people. So if you work hard, if you grind, you get the breaks. You get the breaks. The Liverpool game, for example, we played at the Emirates this season. I was at that match. The majority of the 50-50s in that game went to Liverpool, which surprised me because you often, when you're the home team, you often get the 50-50s going in your favor. If it's a close one, you normally the home team gets it. And there was a handful of decisions, at least in that match, where I thought some of the 50, but you just get on with it. You just I'm not one of these Arsenal fans that's gonna whinge and cry about this refereeing. This is like I'm too grown up for that nonsense.
So what was me too, man?
Yeah, sometimes things go against you. Sometimes the referee's wrong. He gives the penalty against you. It's like, cool, refs make mistakes. But this idea that it's only us. You speak to a Southampton fan. Wolves have had some of the...
I was just about to say them.
They've had some of the most shocking calls. Not one or two, in the last
almost every week.
Months. Oh, bro, they've had some stinkers.
Gary O'Neill, the former Wolves gaffer, could do a podcast on it of his own right. I'll be real. He was getting zanged every week.
DG, to the point where I'm thinking, there's some brown envelopes going around the place here because some of the decisions are shocking. So we just got to get over it. Bad calls are just part of the game. I think what we've got to do is focus on us. And as you said, control the controllables. Declan Rice didn't have to kick the ball. That's within our control. Trossard didn't have to. These are things that are within our control. Do you know what I mean? All right, Saka being out injured. People say it's bad luck. I think it's bad management.
We knew, even with everybody fit, we had a small squad. You kind of sign up for this. It's like standing in the rain with no jacket and complaining you're wet. That's what I feel with them things there. I've been saying that since summer.
You run a player into the ground for the best part of 2.5 years. What do you expect's going to happen? I was at that game at Palace and I was like, that doesn't look good. And it was always coming. Me personally, because I feel the season or the title for sure, I don't think will come our way. You know what I would do? Another unpopular opinion. I'd say Saka, we'll see him in pre-season.
I don't think we see him this season. I'll be honest. I don't think he's back in March.
Because the talk is he's back end of March, April, right? Even if that's true, do you know what I would say? We'll see him in pre-season.
What if we're in the Champions League final, though?
Ooh.
He's still saying that. God,
Well,
I'm gonna
the
need to
thing
see
is,
Saka still.
my opinion was predicated on the idea that the Premier League season is done. Now,
I hear
if you
that.
get to the latter part of the Champions League, then yeah, you might. And if he's fit, you bring him in. But my mindset would be go and have a full summer. Go and remember, we forget England games as well. Saka is one of 2 or 3 England players that's guaranteed. Saka,
100% attendance. Declan Rice, even another one, Rice. White, if he, well, you never know with White on the Tuchel, he might be one of them now.
Well, going forward, Declan Rice for me is a probable pick. He's not a definite pick for me. For Tuchel, he probably will pick him, but where I'm talking like, I'd be stunned if Saka's not in the 11 for Thomas Tuchel. Do you know what I mean? So the point I'm making is that there's a lot of games there for Saka. Let the guy have a break. Let him heal properly, with a proper holiday and a proper preseason.
And it's a World Cup season next year as well.
Yeah, we'll see you next year, bro. So the Saka, these are things that Arsenal fans call bad luck. Same way Man United fans last year were crying about all their 94 injuries. I'm like, hang on a minute. Let's look into these. People like Varane have always been injury prone. So you knew when you signed him, he wasn't an injury player. So
Tomiyasu in our case as well.
Yeah, and other players as well. So sometimes you've got to look at why these guys are injured. If a guy plays a game, DG, and breaks his leg from a bad tackle, you can't control that.
Yeah, that's bad luck because that's what it is.
Yeah, but when your training methods, i.e. Ten Hag, are getting players constantly injured, well, that's on you. That's a management thing. Luke Shaw, you knew he was injured when you gave him the new deal 2 years ago.
Right.
So when we talk about, oh, we've got 15 injuries, yeah, but bro, half of them are guys who signed injured, or your training methods are not lending themselves to this guy. So my point being is that all this kind of victim blame, always crying about this nonsense, miss me with that. Control the controllables, do your job, and let's see how it works out.
Facts. I got 2 last questions before I let you get out of here. Yeah.
Take time.
I haven't asked you specifically because you mentioned, you went on a tangent about I want to see good football, this, that, and the other. Yeah. And simultaneously, you back Arteta. Now, if I align those two, do you think this is good football? Is this entertaining for a La Masia graduate, worked with Pep and Wenger? I'm just asking. Do you think this is entertaining for you?
You know what? The football at the moment is not great. It's not particularly good. There are some games this year that have been absolutely awful. That first half on Wednesday was horrible. It was really, it wasn't good. I think most of the game was, the first half in particular was not good. So I'll accept that some of the football narratives have not been good. I guess what I mean by bad football is when you've got your full team and there's a consistency over a season where the football is awful. I kind of mean more longer standing.
I hear that.
Periods rather than like a handful of games that are not really, really good. And I think if you put Bukayo Saka back in that team, Saliba back in that team, I think the football improves. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not prepared to judge the football with this 11 because it's not his best 11, and I've got a reference point to judge it alongside. I've seen good football with Arsenal, with Arteta's good team, so I wouldn't judge him on this period. If you get your foot, it's a bit like Postecoglou. He keeps banging on about, when I get my players back, you'll see the real Tottenham. Well, bro, what I find funny about that is 2 things. One, when you had your best players, you were still losing games. And actually, your best result this season against Man City 4-0 away came when your 3-0 back 4 weren't even there.
Yeah. Depleted side. It's funny how football works, man.
Do you know what I mean? So I'll judge Arteta when I see when he gets his players back and I see a sustained period of a season where this is really bad football. Because for me, it's important. We pay a lot of money to go watch football. Football's entertainment. So
and we pay with emotion as well, more than anything.
Yeah, man. So I'm not on this win at all costs. And that's why I'm like a lot of, I see football YouTubers, Arsenal YouTubers, losing their heads. And I'm not losing my head because I'm patient. I'm prepared to wait another season. So I'm like, I'm waiting 21 years. I get that. But there's with a lot of these YouTubers, I think they're embarrassing themselves with this cursing and swearing. I watch your streams, right? And I rate them because you're passionate, you're critical, you give praise when it's due, but you don't clown. And the minute I start seeing DG act like a clown, I'm gonna call you and say, "Yo,
I can't come back to the hood, man. I'm not on it."
I'm like big man to big man. Like you can be passionate, but when I see man smashing their studio up and flinging down mics and effing and jeffing and C-bombing, get the F out of my club, I'm like, "Yo, these men have got kids."
WWE thing, man.
big internet and acting. So I'm like, just relax. And maybe I'm just taking a different approach. And maybe I'm not as passionate as this guy. I don't know. But I'm prepared to wait a little bit longer, give this guy a bit more money. People talk about the money he spent, 700 million. That's a lot of money. Over 5 years, it's about £140, 140 million a season. Now, that's catch-up money. So it's a bit like another analogy with the club, right? That's like me going to the biggest, baddest club in London, right? And I'm like, yo, you got to pay X to get in. Cool, I got that. Now I want a table. Bruv, that's an extra.
And now I can't have one bottle, I got to have beer.
Right. That's where Arsenal are. We've paid the money to get in the club.
Even got to find a for the cloakroom as well.
There you go. So we've got to spend more money. When you look at our team, there's not, in my opinion, we haven't got a world-class player. Liverpool have got arguably 4. City have got at least 4. So how can you win a title if you haven't got a world-class player?
Well, you don't reckon Saka's one?
No.
Or Saliba?
I think Saliba's the only one that I would debate. Saka's not world-class. Odegaard's not world-class. These are top players. They're not, according to my, I mean, world-class is the whole personal thing anyway. According to my metric, there's not a world-class player at Arsenal, right? So if you haven't got a world-class player, according to what I'm saying, how can you expect to win the title? You've got to bring in some more players. And people are like, oh, he spent 700 million. He might have to spend another 700 million in the next 3 or 4 years. He might, because right about now.
You're right. Still, you're right. And even with that, I think it's disingenuous. I feel, we've spent 700 odd, but other people have spent more. And like you said, it's catch-up money. What we can't sit here and do, rightly or wrongly, we had to rip up contracts. We had to spend a lot defensive. We had to do a lot to get it. So for me personally, I really look at what we've done the last 2 years, including now. This is when I'm a bit more harsher on Mikel Arteta, because I honestly feel, Arteta, bro, you've done the hard stuff now. You've done the hard stuff. And I know it's easy for me as a fan to sit here and do that, but evidently everyone can see striker, back up for Saka or another option out wide. Sort out what you're doing in midfield. Yeah, you're playing Rice as an 8. Cool. We're hearing Zubimendi stuff. Moreno, I don't know where we're at. Just sort out these things and then we're kind of gone. And I know, it's another point just for me. I feel, you see the 2022-23 season, how we played in the attacking sense. How we played that season in the going forward, how he was defensively last season. I just want Arteta to merge that together. And I honestly think we're kind of gone. But then based on everything we're talking about, was it really then a myth? Like, if we go back to the summer, was it then a myth to believe we could win the league? Like, actually, just looking at our team, we could win the league? Or was it a thing where a lot of variables need to fall our way for us to win the league?
So I'm all about accountability, right? And when man chat rubbish or get things wrong, I'm the first to be on your neck. Mind you, say, remember when you said blah, blah, blah? So I'll hold myself to the same standard. I tipped Arsenal to finish first, but I tipped Arsenal to finish first because on the basis that I didn't think our front line and our attacking threat was good enough to win the title, but I thought our defense was. I thought we'd win the league.
They say that saying, to be fair.
Yeah, and after last season, what I saw, I was like, yo, our defense is mad. If we can do that again, and we'll always score goals, we might not outscore City or outscore even Liverpool, but I think we'll concede a lot less goals in those two teams. That was my logic for it. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and say, oh, no, I never thought we'd win the league anyway, because I did. And I wasn't biased.
And they've shown you reasons to believe you could go and fight for it. We finished second twice. So it weren't a fluke. First year, you could say, okay, we didn't prepare for it. Maybe it was just a fluke season. Yeah. Last season, the rhetoric, I remember it was, Arsenal are going to fall off. This one, that one, they're all going to improve. And they might have been right. I just know we finished second. Right now, we're still second. So you're right with what you're saying.
Yeah, and this I often hear this kind of line from Arsenal fans or football fans that say, oh, if Arsenal don't win the league and Liverpool win it, that's embarrassing. I'm like, why? Why is that embarrassing? Man, are talking about Liverpool as any team. If it was West Ham top, all right. If it was Crystal Palace top or Spurs, cool. But people are talking about Liverpool are the top team. People forgetting Liverpool were top of the league until the last month of the season last year.
Yeah. And look at their squad and the players they got. I know there's contractual situations.
It's Slot's first year. I'm like, but Slot's clearly, as we're seeing, a good manager coming into a very good, ready-to-go team. So this idea that it's laughable if Arsenal finish second behind Liverpool, I'm like, why? Man, I'm talking about Liverpool have just come from nowhere. Liverpool have been in this title mix for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So this
the only one they fell off is when they had the mad injury thing, if I remember rightly, when they were going for the quadruple and it went tits up.
So I don't agree with this. If we finish behind Liverpool, it's embarrassing. It's not embarrassing for me. It'd be embarrassing if, like I said, it was Tottenham or Villa or another team that came first, that would be like, whoa, where's that come from? But Liverpool have been in this team just because they've got a new manager. So I think for me, it's about just the missions from here to the end of the season now are about finishing strong. How close can you finish to Liverpool? Because if we finish second or third and we're 9, 10, 11 points off Liverpool, that's a worry for me. Because that's regression. You weren't in the race. You finished 3, 4, 5 points behind Liverpool. All right. And you took it to the last few weeks of the season. Cool. You've pushed the winners to within the last month of the season. That's, I'm not happy about that. But you're in and around it. I think all he's got to do is just be in and around it, and in the fine margins, a striker will be the difference that gets you over the line. I'm much more kind of calm about the season. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. There's things I don't like. I've been disappointed in certain players this season, and Arteta at times this season. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not losing my head, bro. I'm not losing my head. It's like, you know what, the League Cup, we've not been playing well most of the season, so the League Cup semi-final defeat for me wasn't a surprise. You're playing a good team in form. It wasn't a shock to me. That game was kind of coming. The Man United one was, and that was a madness.
No excuses for United, man.
That was unacceptable. That was unacceptable.
10 men. I'm not even vexed about the penalties because that's luck of the draw. It should never have went there.
It was a madness. And I had a bad feeling about that game as well. So for me, the mission now, DG, is okay. Can you just? And that's why the Villa game was so disappointing. I did a pod last week with the boys. I said to the guys, the mission, we cut the gap, didn't we? We beat Tottenham and they drew with Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And I said to the guys on the pod, just the mission now is just stay in touch. Just stay in touch. Because you never know.
Conversation going.
Well, yeah, because if you can keep it to 5 points a month from now, cool. Then Saka might then come back. You might get a few more players back. And before you know it, 5 points, you can get a 5 point lead back. A 5 point deficit back, so you can. And
we got to go to Anfield as well. It's difficult, but it would be a great story.
If the mission was get to Anfield within 5 points, I'd probably take that. But then to drop points against Villa and then they win, it's just like, yo, just stay in touch. Just because even after the title was gone, even last week, 5 points even got me thinking. What?
Yeah, just because it doesn't, I don't think it's going to happen. Because I'm with you. I don't think we're going to win the league. I don't want the players to think that. Keep the conversation going. Like whether Liverpool drop points or not's another thing. But just keep it going. Because at the end of the day, you still got to play, bro.
Do your job, yeah. So for me, it's opened up again now. Look, Wolves won't be easy on the weekend.
At all.
I forgot who Liverpool have got. Liverpool have got Ipswich.
I hope Ipswich do us a favour, but yeah, they're getting tumped up. Realistically, they're getting tumped up.
They're getting wrapped up like a kebab, bro. That's not even.
Yeah, man, it's about 4-0 or something.
Yeah, and there's another game ticked off. But for me, the mission is just keep it respectable. If we don't win a title, the fine margins can, for me, still make me praise him. Can you go deeper in Europe? You know, can you get to a semi in the Champions League or even a final? That's progress.
It is. People won't want to hear it. It's not a trophy, but it is.
That's a lose mentality. No, it's not. It's not. These aren't trophies that are easy to win. These are not easy to win trophies. You got to make marginal gains. So yeah. So if we can keep competitive, keep it respectable, then yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Are you in the camp of just sign a striker this window regardless?
No, I would. Do you know what? For me, I would more want to go for a winger. I definitely want a striker. You know, you've probably offered your thoughts on Sesko. If that's the one, I'll take.
Sorry to clarify. Sorry, DG. What I mean, so attacker. So are you buying an attacker at all costs? Striker or wing, whatever. I
think we need one, man. I think we need one, man. I know there's a lot of talk about who we're going to get and we're very niche, but I think we need one purely because bodies are dropping. You know, you mentioned Saka. I don't think it's sustainable just week in, week out. Like, I just really don't. I think you need a wide man. I think personally, we're paying for our mistakes of the summer. I think at the very minimum, you needed to get a wide man. I would love a striker now, but I would say part that off till the summer. I don't think there's no excuse to get a wide man. Now, of course, I'm an armchair expert. Can't tell you a bunch of names. You're telling me you can't find a winger, a little 1v1 demon, Mikel Arteta. Because for me, this season or this month and in the summer, we've been saying this for years, you know. We've been talking about a striker for years. We've been talking about a winger, quote unquote, for years and depth for years. My point of saying that is, like, if we're going for Sesko, for example, who's a striker in the summer, you know football yourself. If we were going for him in the summer last year, you didn't just wake up in the summer and say we're trying to sign him. You've been looking at Donny for years. I don't think we're getting a forward. I think it's too niche. I think Arteta is kind of hung up on the ones he wants. I don't think he's convinced with that. What's that brother at Sporting? Gyökeres and all of that. I don't think there's an excuse not to get a wide man, because we know if Saka's not there, we're in trouble, bro. Like, and you know what? I have to big up Kai Havertz. He might not be everyone's cup of tea, but excluding Saka, out of all them attacking options, he's a lot more consistent than the rest. I know Martinelli's coming back into form. I know Trossard statistically is coming back into form, but I genuinely think we need another wide man. And I think we'd be in a lot more trouble if, you know, you didn't have a young Ethan coming through and obviously Lewis Skelly at left back. I think we need one, man. I genuinely think we need one. What are you saying for the Cunha guy? He's got an audition on Saturday, man.
Well, he might not play. He might not play, but I was watching Cunha for about a year, right? And because I remember seeing him about a year ago, and he scored a goal. I think it was against Villa, and I was like, oh, just the motion. I think it was Villa. The motion and the way he struck it in his movement made me think, oh, that's a guy that knows ball. This is, and then I scored again the week after. And I was watching him. I was thinking, I don't know if I want him, but let me watch him and just see Wagwan. And every time I've seen him, I've liked the look of him. And this year, he's had a good year. Then we were linked with him a couple of months ago. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm still not convinced if I want him, but I like the look of him. The reason why I would say no to him is because he feels like more of a Kai Havertz type player.
He can do everything, but he's not a specialist for what we need. I'm having him, though.
He feels like a 10, more of a 10 for me. So I think profile-wise, I'm not sure he's what we need. Having said that, I like him. And this is why I asked you the question, would you want an attacker at all costs? Because I'm in the no camp. I think if you can't get the right guy now, I would wait.
But could you say Cunha? I hear you, but is Cunha the wrong guy? He's a baller. Like, ballers can play with ballers. Like, I hear you. He might not be a specific kind of guy, but he's in the squad.
DJ, that's the thing. You know ball. We're in the era now, and especially under Mikel Arteta, we're in the era at Arsenal of system football.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
You can't just drop good players into a team. Players have got to be specific to a particular part of the system.
I think he'd be off the left for us, to be fair. Maybe in the 10 if Odegaard's not there, but I think he'd be playing off the left. And he's not a winger like that.
Well, let's say exactly. Let's say off the left is where we're going to put him. Of all the players that are available to play off the left, is he the best option?
What, in the Arsenal squad now?
No, just out there.
Of course not. No, of course not. But so the Nico Williams thing, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I think that's a Rafinha 2.0 in the sense of he clearly wants to go to Barcelona. Obviously, if Domino's full and we've been doing our thing, we might be able to have a chance. But the wingers, it's a bit of a niche. I don't really see wingers out there that I'm like, oh, I want that. There's plenty I like. I like Anthony Gordon of Newcastle. Me and you both know that's a myth. Like, there's not even with the striker thing, bro. There's not really one that I'm like, oof, I would say is that, but another one that's not happening. That's where I'm agreeing with you in that all costs. I'm not sure, but if I had to put a percentage on it, like I 90% want to see at least some sort of attacking addition in in January. I have to. I don't think it's the
I think it's got to be the right guy. I think because otherwise we get the wrong guy. We're going to be here. I'll be doing your pod this time next year, and we'll be saying, do you know what I mean? Oh, you know what? Maybe Cunha, we got gassed off it. Yeah, we'll be complaining. And then you're tied into a guy on 300 bags a week or 250 a week on a 5-year deal.
Being devil's advocate, ain't that Kai Havertz? I know he's doing his thing, but we talk about niche players and that. Is he that niche?
So which is why I'm saying the next guy for me, I mean, there's no guarantees, of course, but the next guy's got to be someone that we genuinely are confident can fulfill a role and there's a space for him rather than just this guy's a baller, let's get him in. Because in system football, I don't think ballers work. We saw with England. I'm a Southgate fan, again, in the minority, right? I think he had to go when he went, but I think they're all good for England. But
100%.
The fact is,
couldn't get over the line, a bit like Arteta.
Yeah, exactly. But the similarity also is that Southgate's football with England was system football. But you got ballers, you got Palmer, you got Saka, you got Foden. These guys can't operate in. These guys they're not robots.
They need freedom within the framework, man.
Yeah, and in the time when you saw some flexing going on was when Palmer came on. Saka was doing his thing, off the cuff kind of guys. And I don't think you can just put ballers into a system. You need players that know the system to play the system. So that's why I'm not in the kind of camp of just get any attacker that's good, because I think in a year's time I'm going to regret it. we are going to regret it. It's got
that's true. No, that's true. That is true. That's why I don't get. I feel like if you're starving, anything you put on a plate in front of you is going to be hungry. And I do think I'm like that to a degree. If we signed Cunha, I wouldn't be against it. I don't think we're signing him.
I wouldn't be pissed. No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I just don't think we're gonna get it done. I think Wolves are gonna play hardball. I think Arsenal might like him, but it's not one like like Declan Rice. They wanted him. They're gonna go and get that. I think it would have to make a lot of sense. And if you're Wolves, you're gonna fight. And I also think his agent is playing everyone. He's got the new contract on the table. He's linked with several clubs. You're hearing the Wolves manager come out and criticize him. So it's a bit of a jarring one, man. I want to ask you one last question, then, on that, and it's a good way to end it. Like, regardless of if you want a signing or not, how confident are you we sign someone in January anyways? Like, there's a new player with what's left of the window.
It's a good question, man. How confident am I?
That's not even necessarily confident. Like, what's the likelihood you expect of an attacker? Like, do you think one will arrive? Like, do you genuinely think we'll sign one?
Well, my initial answer is probably no. But then I look at, you use the word bodies. Mikel Arteta's got to be looking at his squad and thinking, I mean, we need some bodies in the building, right? And there's a lot of games. These guys have been rinsed during January because it's an unusually packed month in the schedule. Okay, we're at the FA Cups, that frees up a week, but you've still got the title running coming up. You've still got the Champions League coming up. You've still got, I mean, we might be at the League Cup anyway, so that might not be a problem. So that might again free up some time. But you're only now one more striker or attacker going down for 2 months, to the point now where you're like, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
You've got to play some kids. So in that sense, you've got to think that my fear is that he might do another Sterling deadline day loan of someone that you don't really want, but
Mr. Marcus, Rashford might.
Yeah,
still not left United.
Yeah, and all these things concern me. And I guess my final point would be this: that, and this is the prediction. I think, and I've said we as football fans might have to get used to the fact that big deals, i.e. 80, 90, 100 million, even plus pound deals, are going to be super rare now. Because I think PSR's got everybody shook. So as an Arsenal fan base now, we might have to accept the fact that people like Isak, either we have to forget that sort of caliber of player, or Newcastle have to accept that if a player wants to go, they have to reduce it. But I think we're kind of, you'll see a lot more 40, 50, 60 max £1 million transfers. And someone like Cunha, I think Wolves reported to wanting 65, 70 for him.
Yeah, they're moving a bit mad there.
No one's paying that. No one's paying that.
Too steep, in my opinion.
Yeah, if he calls the ruckus, then cool. Then they might drop the price. But I think Arsenal are genuinely not interested in kind of looking at the 70+ million pound market, because it's not sustainable. And Arsenal, for their flaws, and you might call this a flaw in itself, they've never been a club. I know they did Pepe and Declan Rice, but Arsenal ain't really an 80 million, 90 million pound
self-sustaining model we hear all the time.
They are, yeah. Now, but what I will say though is, I'm not advocating cheating or breaking the rules. But I think, and it's just my thought, I think Man City are doing something interesting. I think they're doing what Chelsea did. They've just signed 4 players in 10 days.
And they're still linked with more.
I think they're thinking to themselves, and it's something that Arsenal and definitely Man United might have to consider. We might break the spending rules and just hold the 8-point fine.
Didn't that happen to Forest?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And look at them now. And look at Chelsea. The model might be, if we break the rules and get the guys we need in and have to hold a 10-point deduction, the top teams might decide it's kind of worth it.
Might as well, innit? Just take that risk. Just you win your first 4 games of the, assuming this stake that came into place next season. You just see you're on zero, innit? They take them points. You're kind of good. You're right. That's a very good point.
I genuinely think. Sorry, I genuinely think that the days that this summer, Man United fans in particular, I've been saying this for weeks. They're talking about overhaul. We need to get these 8 players up. They are broke. They are not broke.
Crazy to hear that said about United.
Money. But they're gonna have a rude awakening this summer when the amount of spending. It's a prediction. The amount of spending they do is going to be minimal. that squad they've got right now, I reckon 75% of it will be there next season.
I hope so. I hope so.
And it's same with us. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Arsenal massive sign. So I'm just saying, so when we want transfers, we might have to get used to the fact that, boy, you might just see a few gems, a few £30 million players coming in. Like what? Because I think the days of signing, like I said, 80 plus £million players, I think a lot of clubs are going to be shook up by PSR and are going to be falling into line with spending. Because remember, it's not just the fee. The fee ain't the problem.
It's the wages and everything. Everyone forgets that with transfer fees, you know, like everyone just thinks 50 million for a player, 50 million is transferred to the bank, which unless it's a release clause, that doesn't happen. And when people look at transfer budgets, they forget that wages or whatever the potential wages for a player, all of these things are considered. And even when you look at our club, like as much as clearly we were trying to sign players, we did spend money in the summer with the Athletic and all of like the David Ornsteins. I did read between the lines, and for me, obviously I've never spoken to anyone at Arsenal, but it felt like there is a bit of an insistence of, okay, we've spent a lot of money, Arteta, we might need to get some deals here. Like you look at the Haylem boys, whether you wanted them to stay or not, 100% profit. Even yesterday, I think one of these journalists said that Arsenal are kind of on at minimum of 1 in, 1 out. Maybe that's why Zinchenko's even linked with Dortmund. And there's a lot to do, man. Like what? Saliba, Saka, Gabriel, they're going to need new deals. We obviously are going to have to spend some sort of money. And there's probably several players, in theory, you can make a case of going. Gabriel is ain't going to be one of them because of his ACL now. So it is quite interesting and delicate. And you said it there, like that's it for me. Of course, I would love us to get Isaac and all these household players that we all know and love. They're amazing, innit? But I'm of the belief of, if you can get a player for 30 million that does a job, great, because half of the players that are key players now in our team, very few of them 100% convinced the fan base. Gabriel took a while to get his flowers. You know, Saka come for our academy. Odegaard 30 million. In the first 6 months that we saw from Odegaard, people weren't convinced. Trossard, fair enough. Everybody was kind of cool with that. Martinelli's come from the academy. So I don't really care. Like, for me, I just want to see competency. And for next season, at the very least, or if you could do it now, I don't want to keep talking about the same things. Like, I don't want to keep talking about a striker, depth, midfield. What happens if the right-hand side's locked off? What's going on with the midfield partners? They're the controllables I feel I need to see Mikel Arteta control. I know it's easy to, you know, as an armchair expert to say this, but I think you're too smart, you're too experienced now for as long as you've been here to not eradicate these things, man. But we're going to have to see, man. Give me your prediction for Wolves to wrap this up, my guy.
I think we'll just nick it, but I don't think it'll be easy. I think we'll nick it 2-1. But we need some more proficiency in front of the goal. We really do. It's really bad.
We're winging it, man.
Even the game on Wednesday in the Champions League, we won the game 3-0. Gabriel missed a sitter from a corner. Havertz missed a sitter. Odegaard, I wouldn't call it a sitter, but missed a good chance. So yeah, that is concerning me. We don't have any killers. We have to work really hard to score a goal, and Liverpool don't. That's the difference.
Yeah,
Liverpool can play at 60-70%. Still, they've got players that can nick a goal or two. We have to be pretty much perfect.
Even a Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, and I don't rate Darwin Núñez.
I don't rate him at all, but like he can make it happen. He made it happen at the Emirates because you mentioned the game as well, like his movement and Salah and all of that. That's why we need world-class players. But
I think we'll nick it though, 2-1. But if we don't, we're looking over our shoulder, bro.
We can't afford that. Like, and again, big up to Wolves, and you can't look at teams that are, you know, other games to come, but we've got City, we've got Wolves away who are fighting for their lives. Honestly, if I'm Wolves, I'm looking at Arsenal like they're spoiled babies. We're fighting for our future in the Premier League. You lot are crying because you're not winning the Premier League. We're going to show you what this is about. Yeah. But like, honestly, and for me, if I'm harsh on Arsenal, bar the occasional games, I haven't felt as confident away from home as I used to feel last season. Last season, didn't matter who we kind of played. We were just doing our job. And I think that's where I've seen a bit of regression. So I think we'll nick it. I'm going to go 2-1. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I know we're probably up there for clean sheets, but I feel we've dropped off defensively. So we'll have to see, my bro, man. Hopefully the next time we do this, I wouldn't say we've been downbeat, but I naturally hope we're a lot more upbeat. Let people know they can find you, man.
Yeah, man, I'm on the socials. On the socials, bro. I'm on Instagram. You can find me there, Twitter as well. Just my name, Jordan Jarrett Bryan. Yeah, so I'm launching a podcast in the next month or so. But
about time.
If you it's not actually sport related, but next time I come back on your pod, if you have me back on,
you're family, man. You're here, man.
I'll plug it on that one because it's not up. It's a couple more weeks away. But yeah, just I'm on the socials, Jordan Jarrett Bryan. Hit me up, yo.
And you can find him making unpopular opinions, as he said earlier on AFTV.
Oh,
on
of course,
Forever
Forever
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Pick up my Forever Arsenal family, me Turkish, Lee
It's
judging.
so funny seeing you in Turkish and occasionally Liga. It's just. I think you four, like James as well. It just represents 4 different parts of our fan base.
It's perfect.
It's like you got the top red, you got the negative kind, not negative, but like grumpy. You've got balance. You've got James with the stats. It's a good show, man. It's a good show. So shout out them lot.
Love.
It's lit, man. So yeah, people. Obviously, all of Jordan's info will be in the description because he didn't really do a great job of plugging it, but I'll do the rest, man. But
I'm a humble one. I've got a lot going on.
Mr. Channel 4 being humble, mate. Get out of here, man. But George, one love for doing this, my guy.
Anytime,
Comment, subscribe, all of that stuff, people. And on that, we're out, man. Come on, you Gunners. Peace. You always just